Okay, we're here in mid-February, inside as it is now because it's so bitter out. Today we were at the Provincial Law Courts building in Edmonton, participating in a family day vigil for broken families and parental suicide. And so you are GirlWritesWhat, a writer and YouTuber who has gained a lot of fame as an advocate for fairness and justice for men and boys. What can you say about what motivates you and what's the reason you're at this vigil tonight?
Well, I have two sons. I have a daughter, but I have two sons. And I am extremely concerned about the world that they're growing up into and how they're going to make their way. And another huge part of it is just when you come across people who you feel think completely upside down, you know, that they think that the world works in direct opposition to the way it actually works. That provides, I guess, for somebody like me, that provides a very good motivation for trying to get people sort of looking at things in a different way. So, you know, and also my divorce was a huge eye-opener as far as how the system works, the way it's weighted, who has favor and who doesn't, and how much advantage I could have taken had I chosen to of the system to basically just get whatever I wanted and exclude my children's father from their lives if I had so chosen. And that, I just saw that as just really, really unfair. It would not have taken much at all for me to have just taken the system, used it, and gone on my merry way. It would have been the easiest thing in the world. And that struck me as just really, really horrendous. So, yeah.
We know humans are very adaptable and can thrive in numerous environments and types of societies. One of the historically unique changes we've experienced in the last half-century is an unprecedented number of single mothers by choice. From your perspective, what are the reasons we've seen this change to families without fathers?
One of the biggest reasons is that we have created a system that has completely altered the system of incentives and motivations for women. So when the system is willing to pay for illegitimacy, for illegitimate children, when the system is willing to pay for or extract payment from men to pay for children of divorce without the willing investment of father, when you have a system that's set up in that way, you have this huge moral hazard that leads women to, it incentivizes women to leave partners, to not work things out, to not say, I'm going to just work harder and make things better in my marriage. I'm just going to bail on the whole thing and collect alimony and child support, or collect welfare benefits, or, you know, cash it on the system. There's all these programs to help me. The system's set up. These tax dollars are set up to pay for me to be independent, right? So you basically completely eliminated all of these incentives for people to stay together and work things out for the sake of their children. And you have incentivized largely women to abandon marriages, uproot, like completely disrupt their families, and they still have benefits coming in from the partner who's no longer part of the family. So,
how does that affect children, do you think, not having a biological father in the household or with the family, the way we sort of traditionally mentioned? How are children affected?
Well, I keep getting reminded of this little anecdote from wildlife workers in Botswana. Okay, at an elephant sanctuary in Botswana, and they had a herd of elephants where there were no adult males. Right, the adult males had been killed off by poachers for their tusks, and so there was just females and adolescents and infants. And the wildlife workers kept finding rhinoceroses just torn apart, lying dead. They had no idea what was killing these rhinoceroses, or rhinoceri, I guess. And they finally figured it out. It was the adolescent male elephants would come across a rhinoceros, and they would just attack it and rip it apart and kill this rhinoceros. So what the wildlife workers did was they went out, they found some adult bull elephants, they brought them into the group and introduced them. And the very first time a male adolescent elephant went to attack a rhinoceros, one of these adult males picked him up, threw him on the ground, right? You're not going to do that. And that was the end of that, right? Boys especially, girls need fathers, but boys especially need fathers in order to develop a healthy sense of masculinity, to learn how to use their strength and their aggression in assertive ways and positive ways, and not in destructive ways. Men are the most constructive force in our society. They're also the most destructive force in our society if they're left to their own devices, if they have no role models, no male role models in their lives, if they have no one to teach them how to channel that. So I think that what we're doing, they've also shown that girls who grow up in a fatherless home, they hit puberty earlier, they're more likely to be teen parents, they're more likely to have children out of wedlock. You're basically setting up a system that is just going to snowball into just so many social maladies, so many problems, so many things that cost society that aren't going to pay back. Some things cost society and then they pay back a return on the investment. These things, they aren't going to pay anything back. You're just going to end up with teenage mothers living on welfare and boys in jail where they're 18.
How is it that society or the courts we're talking about don't recognize or aren't upset about these problems that are associated with fatherlessness? Like, I'm thinking what you're saying is that exactly what people say about gang membership. Young men in gangs, 9 out of 10 are from the fatherless.
Oh, well, 85% of the men in prison are from fatherless homes. In fact, if you control for fatherlessness, the race disparity in prison populations disappears, right? So it's a huge problem. And the reason why the system is so willing to look the other way with these social harms is I don't think that there's that much that trumps a woman's tears. You have a woman, she's crying, she wants her way, and everybody feels bad for a woman who's upset. Everybody feels bad for a woman who's upset. And she can do all kinds of horrible things, and we just want to explain it away. We want to explain, she didn't know what she was thinking, or she's not responsible for her actions. Oh, she fell through the cracks. The system didn't take care of her the right way, or she had a problem in her childhood. We want to make excuses for women who do bad things, and we want to help women who cry. And this is really, and I think honestly, women's priorities trump children's priorities again and again and again and again. So this is one of the biggest things that I really am trying to draw attention to, is the fact that just because she's crying, okay, let her cry. She's not going to die. She's an adult. She doesn't have to get everything her own way.
Well, you've answered my next question. Another thing on it, before coming here, I read that Canada has about 3,500 suicides a year, or almost 10 a day. And the records show that there's a direct correlation between the divorce rate and the suicide rate, such that it looks like 1/3 to 1/2 of suicides are related to no-fault divorce. So the opening up of access to divorce and the introduction of no-fault divorce has led to 2 or 3 men or more a day, and some women committing suicide. in divorce situations, why do you think there's so overwhelmingly men that committing suicide?
Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. Men are by far the most likely to lose custody and lose regular access to their children. And this is nothing to do with the fact that they're unfit parents. It's just simply the way the system favors mothers. And the system will favor mothers, even an unfit mother over a fit father. So there's that. Another thing that I think plays into the rate for men, because immediately following in the year or two post-divorce, the rate of suicide for men is about 10 to 11 times the rate of suicide for women. And a lot of that has to do with losing your children, losing your assets, usually more than half your assets, because 2/3 of the house will go to the wife because she's got the children. And you're losing your income, and you're scraping by, and you're sleeping on a friend's couch, and all of that. Your whole life is uprooted. But I think that society at this point, maybe it didn't always, but at this point, society encourages men to put all of their emotional eggs in one basket when they get married. You're supposed to not hang out with your buddies anymore, and you're supposed to not be close to your mother anymore, and you're supposed to invest all of your emotional goodies into this one woman and be devoted to her, and to be absolutely devoted to your children, and everything else is supposed to just be put aside. And we don't expect women to do this. We still, girls' night out, and, she goes out for coffee with her friends, and she has all this emotional support. She has all of these people in her life that she can talk to, and she can relate to, and she can reach out to, and they're there, and they're on the phone with her every other day. Men don't tend to have this. They're encouraged to leave all of that behind and invest in this one person. And when that one person takes the only other people who are relevant in their lives and goes away, then they're left with nothing, right? They gave up all of their friends, and they gave up all of that stuff, and they let their relationship with their mother and their father slide because the wife didn't get along with them or whatever. So he chose her over everything else in his life, and now that she's left him, he's got nothing. He's got nobody to help him out of that pit that sinks into when she leaves him. So it's a huge problem. I think it's more of a problem for men who lose custody of their kids than it is probably even women who lose custody of their kids. So.
How is it, or what do you think the reason is that we have this ongoing carnage that people are largely unaware of? What is there about us that allows us to be born?
Well, you're supposed to suck it up. You're supposed to suck it and grow a pair, right? And just pull out your wallet and provide and do your job and be quiet, right? Play through the pain, right? That's the way we see men. That's what we've expected them to be all through history. That's what we've needed them to be all through history. And we have been extremely reluctant to allow men to get out of that really narrow trench that they've always been in, because what defines them? Once they deviate from that, they are no longer a man, right? If you're not strong, if you're not stoic, if you can't handle it, if you can't improvise, adapt, and overcome, if you can't solve it on your own. So when men don't live up to that, we don't see them, right? It's like a homeless guy lying on the side, we just step over him. Yes. I mean, and men are allowed to be weak. So we get a visceral reaction when we see a man who's just abjectly weak. He's of no use to us. This is not the way we see men. This is not the way men are supposed to be. So I don't want to look at it. Just get it away from me, right? So we don't want to look at this problem. We really don't. And honestly, the way the world has changed, it used to be that we had to be nice to men because women on an individual basis were dependent on individual men. right? The moment the government stepped in and said, okay, well, I'll be your surrogate husband, and I'll be the child's surrogate father, and I will provide all of these things that your husband used to provide, right? The moment that happened, we didn't have to care about the guy. We just don't have to care. We don't have to give him the tools he needs.
Well, thank you very much. That was a great little... Are you warmed up?
I am. You know, my toes, I can feel them again. So...
Well, thanks very much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.